Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you. I'm going to follow with my presentation.
We could see.
Woohoo! Okay, so the FP&M SETA is obviously Fibre Processing and Manufacturing Sector Education Training Authority. Almeen did take you through all the subsectors that we do deal with. As part of the background for FP&M SETA, BBBEE is obviously a very key priority for the FP&M SETA sector. We need to ensure the growth and development and sustainability of SMMEs, and obviously to ensure that the previously and historically disadvantaged individuals actually get the opportunity to build and develop themselves and their communities. So as part of the FP&M SETA sector skills plan for the 5-year period of 2018 to 2023, the SMME development process is to ensure that there's a facilitated, the SMME development has to have facilitated in a structured manner, and establishment of new businesses that are registered through SEDA, and also to ensure that there are new and quality jobs being created. And the sector growth depends on development, support and promotion of the small enterprises within the sector. So there are opportunities, and obviously with having had SEDA come on previously, that you can see quite extensive opportunities through SEDA, and those business opportunities are then collaborate with SEDA as well for the business entrepreneurship and opportunities. These are also to ensure that there's a creation of industry-specific incubators, which includes skills development as a central pillar, because obviously the FP&M SETA is our main aspect is skills development. That is what our funding process is. And the one approach is to providing support to small and micro enterprises and improving their sustainability. By building up the skills, ensuring that each of the cooperatives and the employees in the co-ops actually build up their skills, it does provide for more sustainability and further growth. So cooperatives in the sector must become part of the mainstream economy, and then the FP&M SETA can contribute to the technical upskilling of cooperative members and the provision of business skills needed to effectively establish and run the cooperatives. And the objective of the strategy is to provide support to cooperatives, to NGOs, community-based organisations, and to small enterprises. And this is by funding the skills development and training projects to ensure that businesses can expand and to increase their technical skills capacity, and then to contribute to the sector economic and employment growth by creating opportunities for the creation of sustainable ventures, and to identify and support SMMEs and cooperatives. On this basis, TVET SA, SEDA, a few other entities have been fantastic in actually identifying SMMEs, and then, as seen through Almeen's presentation, how they've been very supportive of the SMMEs and co-ops that they've aligned with. So it's once again, it's aligned to the core FP&M SETA sector industries, clothing manufacturing SMMEs and cooperatives, paper recycling SMMEs and printing SMMEs, and concentrate efforts on development of SMME enterprises that have a BBBEE and transformation profile. Incentives are provided for SMMEs and cooperatives to entrench the BBBEE initiatives, and it's to provide support for SMMEs and cooperatives in the form of advice and the use of resources. We raise awareness of the FP&M SETA through deployment of field workers to interact more closely with the small companies and cooperatives to dispel the myth that the SETAs mainly cater for large companies. In fact, the SETAs are mandated to specifically cater to SMMEs and co-ops, because that is the main area that we look at building, sustaining our industry itself as well, and creating further skills upliftment. Support of SMMEs and cooperatives is mainly paid through discretionary grant pivotal projects. Okay, just to go back to the last point, that the discretionary grant pivotal projects. Pivotal projects are projects that are basically they are credit aligned. They are credit bearing. They are NQF level aligned, They are accredited programs, and there is usually always a workplace aspect involved with regards to a pivotal program. So those will encompass anything from a learnership, skills program, work experience grant, work integrated learning from a higher education and training institution or from a TVET institution, and then for bursaries as well. So those are the pivotal programs that can be funded through the discretionary grant projects process, which we will go through more after this. So the FP&M SETA needs to identify and support 100 SMMEs and 100 cooperatives that fall under the FP&M SETA sectors. And sorry. Excuse me, sorry, and this will be done through the DG Pivotal Projects program. This workshop at the moment is actually part of a DG Pivotal Projects program that is being facilitated through TVET SA. And to promote manufacturer clustering, approach to SMME and cooperative development, and also to prioritise partnerships with departments of trade and industry, as well as public TVET colleges. SMMEs and co-ops need to overcome their size disadvantage by cooperating with other co-ops, which was mentioned in one of the previous presentations as well, and other small enterprises to get the benefits of economies of scale. Efforts via incentives from departments of trade and industry to foster such cooperation have not filtered down to many of these co-ops as yet. And to concentrate efforts on the larger enterprises where support in the form of supplier development towards their own suppliers who may be black owned not only enhances their own competitive advantage, but develops their supplier base and contribute to their own BEE status. So once again, building with the larger companies that can link with them and assist the co-ops to build and develop. Okay, compulsory criteria for SMMEs and cooperatives is that they must be formally registered as a business with the CIPC and must be registered with SARS and tax compliance certificate. And another compulsory criteria for an SMME or co-op to apply for discretionary grant funding is also to have the BEE exemption. So that is a document that you can get online, you can complete and sign for submission. So how to apply for the FP&M SETA discretionary grants. The closing date is the 30th of April 2022. The window is currently open. So you need to contact your nearest FP&M SETA office. So we have one in KwaZulu-Natal, and then it's myself in the Western Cape, and then we have our Gauteng office. And you would request to be registered on our DG application system. By doing that,
Leigh, we've lost you.
you see. Sorry, am I back, Almeen?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so currently the discretionary grant window is open, and it is open until the 30th of April. I'm not quite sure where the connection was lost, so I'm just going to repeat that. In order to be registered on our system, if you have not applied for discretionary grants previously, you will need to submit your company registration document to us, so we can register your company onto our system. And then what we'll do is we'll supply you with what we call an N number. It's a non-levy paying number, and it's usually 9 digits. It starts with an N and then it has 9 digits afterwards. And what you'd do is you'd register against that N number yourself so that you can then go onto the system and apply for the pivotal grants. As mentioned, it's a learnership, skills programs, bursary. There's also work experience, work integrated learning. And as Almeen mentioned, there's also the special projects criteria that you can apply for. So the special projects would be on the basis of cluster initiatives, youth development, women empowerment projects, rural development. There's disability programs as well. So if you have a project that doesn't fall under the normal basis of just a standard learnership or standard skills program, you need more of a supportive aspect than just the actual training. then you can submit a special project application. And within that, you'd have to put together a project proposal stating exactly what the project is that you want to apply for, a breakdown of all aspects of the project. So what the training process is going to be within the project, what developmental structure there's going to be, the support for the actual project itself, what the outcomes are of the project, and then of course a full cost breakdown of the project itself. So that would need to be part of your project proposal if you're applying for a special project, so that we get a very good idea of what the application is about, how feasible your application is, what the impact of it is going to be, and if that complies with the mandate of the SETA itself, of what our requirements are, of the upskilling and the building of SMMEs and cooperatives. So that can also be applied for. And then also to partner with credible training providers accredited with the FP&M SETA to implement these skills development initiatives. So with being SMMEs and co-ops, I'd say basically 98% of them are unable to actually become accredited in their own right. It is admin intensive and it takes a lot of time. So the training that needs to take place does need to be accredited training, and it would need to be with an accredited training provider such as TVET SA that would be able to coordinate the training processes with yourselves. So you need to obviously speak to them, see their availability, if they are prepared to work with you on the initiative that you would like to apply for, and then they would be able to upload your the training provider's accreditation with the application to show that there has been that discussion and they are the identified training provider that they would most likely use as part of the application for funding. There is a lot more to the discretionary grant application. We do have a video that you can view to actually go through the process. We do have a manual that can be downloaded, but there are the details of our different offices. So these are the regional managers in the 3 offices. It's William Malema, who's in our Joburg office. It's myself, who's in the Western Cape office, and then of course Luntu Philip is in our KZN office. My executive manager is Mr. Joe Rametsi, but you can contact any one of us with regards to the discretionary grant application process. We can go through it with you and assist you to actually do the application process, because obviously with the whole thing being online, with it being a new system, we are there to support you to ensure that you actually get your applications in. You know, we don't want you to battle to give up and not go through the process just because it becomes very frustrating with the system. So please, if you can contact us and we'll take you through the process and we will ensure that you are able to actually get in your discretionary grant application before the cutoff date. So if there are any questions, please.
Thank you, Leigh. That's a mouthful. I know that when we look at I've been online, Kathy, I'll give you a moment just now. I've been online and it was a whole new experience. We used to know the system, and now it's a whole new experience. So just maybe to mention that when you want to apply for a special project, that you have to click on the other or non-pivotal options, because otherwise it will just take you to the learnership options, and then you will have to upload your special project proposal as a supporting document. Is that correct, Leigh?
All the special project and all the documents are uploaded under supporting documents now. Right. So yeah, we have made that adjustment. Yeah, all of it.
Okay, fantastic. All right, and then I wanted to ask something that Amelia referred to earlier about finances and struggling to get somebody to help them. Just as a question to you, maybe. So if a co-op, for example, applied for WIL grants, and they could partner with a university or a University of Technology student to come and assist them either from a a clothing production point of view or from a financial management point of view for the, a kind of a business administration point of view. Do you think that would be an option for them to use a world grant towards that?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's a fantastic idea. There does need to be the understanding, though, that if you are taking someone that is work integrated learning, so they will have a certain amount of experience that they then need to be able to complete in order to get their qualification. So if you're taking someone on basically as financial management or financial administrator, there would have to be a mentor that would also be able to work with them. So they wouldn't be able to like fulfill the job of being your finance manager without another finance person there, because they are supposed to be learning at the same time. So they could basically be there as assistants, but yeah, it's not basically to replace a position that you should already have someone in. They need to be mentored at the same time. So that just does need to be taken into consideration when you're looking at something like that.
Thank you. Kwathi, you wanted to ask a question?
Yes, thank you. It's just a brief one. I didn't quite understand or get the first part that Leigh was talking about on registering on the system, about having to submit like the company registration, where and how we do that part. I missed it.
Shame, yeah, that's where I cut out a few times. Apologies for that, Kwathi. So what happens is that our companies that fall under us and pay skills development levies are already registered under us. But any companies that do not pay skills development levies, so the SMMEs, co-ops, they would need to submit a separate document to us. So you could email it through to me. And when you email through your company registration to me, then what I'll do is I'll register you on our system. So what happens is that when I register you on our system, it creates a number for you that I would then send through to you, and then you would actually go on and register yourself as being linked to your company, so that you can then start doing the application process on the system. So essentially, I'm registering your company so that it's recognized. But then once I've given you that number, you would need to then register yourself as the person who is going to be responsible or authorized against that company. And that's when I said that's when you can contact us and we can actually take you through the process. So once your company is actually registered, and I send you the number, you can come back to me and say, okay, I'm now ready to register and do this application, and then we can actually sit and do it together. So we can do it in something like over Teams like this, or you can actually come through to the office and we can go through the process of doing the application together. So don't worry about it being too overwhelming. The main aspect is just to send through the company registration documents so that we can get your company linked and registered on our system so that you can process everything from there.